I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start off with roll call, indicate if you're present. Andy Arriaga. I see you're connected, so we'll mark you as present, but James Leckie. Mark Nelson.
Here.
Megan Larson.
Here.
Scott Walters.
Here.
Steve Corey. Here. And Bethany Guajardo.
Here.
We'll move on to ex officio members, Rochelle Klein. Quorum being present, we'll go ahead and move into business. First item is adoption of the agenda. Are there any comments on the agenda?
Mr. Chair, no comments. Move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote. All those in favor of approving the draft agenda as written signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. We'll next move on to approval of the minutes for the April 24th meeting. Are there any comments on the draft minutes?
Mr. Chair, no comments. Move to approve the April 24th, 2024 minutes as written.
Been moved and seconded to approve the draft minutes for the April 24th, 2024 meeting as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote. All those in favor of approving the draft minutes as written for the April 24th, 2024 meeting signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, no.
Aye.
The motion passes. Thank you. We'll now move on to staff program reports. The first item under staff program reports is the monthly presentation on what is diversion and its sources. It's here.
Thanks. So this month I was going to talk about what the city does for the diversion part of the program. So you can see here, this is from the EPA's waste hierarchy. So how they have it is the largest, so it's an inverted triangle, and the top part is most preferred way to manage waste, and the least preferred is at the bottom, hence tinier portion. So at the top, you have source reduction. So that is, for example, going to a coffee shop and instead of using their disposable coffee cup, you bring your own mug. Reuse would be basically our Trash or Treasure program would be reuse. And recycling, composting, energy recovery. That would be if you had a landfill or even a anaerobic digester and you received energy from that, then you can put that back into the grid. And then treatment and disposal are the last. So that's more of a landfill. So the city's diversion focuses on the first two. And then we'll talk about each of those segments. So the city, so we have source reduction and reuse. We right now have programs that focus on the reuse portion. So here we have two programs, Recycle a Bicycle and Trash or Treasure event, which we'll talk about both a little bit later on. So which are both great events and, keep things out of the landfill and keep them within the community. And then, like I talked about before, we have recycling or public services is the hauler. And there's two types of I think if there's two types of main materials in recycling, there's your standard curbside collection. Standard means, you know, paper, metal containers, plastic containers, cardboard, stuff like that. And then the whole Treasure Valley uses the same MRF, so therefore the same types of materials for standard collection are all the same. So Nampa, us, Boise, Caldwell, all those places. If they go to the same MRF, the curbside has the same materials inside. And then there's special type of recycling, and that's more municipality dependent, or even, you know, larger Ada County, but we're just talking about Meridian. So special recycling, and usually there's extra steps involved. It has to be more source separated than curbside commingle. I just noticed a typo here. So when it says in general, the MRF will decide this based on technology. Yes, no, actually that's right. So depending on the technology, if it's a more sophisticated MRF, they can put more, they can accept more stuff into their system. So then that would be moved over into the standard kind of collection. For example, number 5 plastics would be one. But for here, for Meridian, you know, we have squishy water bottles. We have the orange bag program. Glass is separated out. We have oil, scrap metal, as you can see down here at the transfer station. And then also at the transfer station, hazardous waste and e-waste is accepted. And I will point out that I'm pretty sure we're the only community that specifically has a bin for squishy water bottles. I don't know of any other community, so that's pretty cool. And then in additional, Ada County is, I believe, the only county within Idaho that does the orange bag program. Canyon County doesn't do that. And it doesn't matter if even unincorporated Ada County participates. So Waste Connections does collect the orange bags and brings it to the MRF. And then we have compost, our organics. So here we do yard debris and Christmas trees. So we're moving a little bit down on that inverted pyramid or triangle. And for Meridian, we have currently 3 options. We have the Republic Services curbside grass and leaf cart subscription. And I don't know if you guys know, but this year we changed it where if you have the cart, you can put both leaves and grass in at the same time. You don't have to wait for a specific month to then switch over to leaves. And then we have the Recycle the Fall event each year, and then Christmas tree event as well. And this service also is different within the Treasure Valley. So each community might have something less or more robust. So this all plays into the quarterly tonnage reports that I talked to you guys about. So now when we're, it was last month that we did the last report. So then when I'm talking about the diversion rate, that basically means all the material that someone does not want. And I'm not talking about reuse because that doesn't even factor, you know, we don't know if someone gives something to Goodwill, but all the compost, all the recycling, all that stuff, trash, all over what we actually took away from the landfill. So that's how you get to diversion rate. And then, as I was showing before, we're usually, if we're not in leaf season, we're around, for residential, 10 to 12%, and that includes commingle and organic, so commingle recycling. And right now we're just doing a commercial diversion rate for commingle that hovers around 8%. So total is between 9 to 10% of all of our material that is discarded is removed before it gets to the landfill. And then we have the composition that talks about kind of the percentage of everything that's discarded, what's diverted and what's not. So hopefully now when you see this, it'll help you understand where some of this stuff is coming from. Anybody have any questions?
Everybody hear me? All right. Cord Stanley, General Manager for Republic. I just wanted to clarify on the orange bags because we had that listed as recycling and it's a little further down on that pyramid. It's really energy recovery. And I just want to make sure that there's a lot of misconceptions about that program and the bulk of that material is either incinerated or given to a producer to try to convert it to diesel. But it's not just directly recycled. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So part of it is going to a kiln to be recycled as fuel, and some of it's just being, I guess you would consider it being reused into blocks, but yeah, that is true. So we actually have 3 diversion focuses.
Members of the commission, any other comments or questions about the presentation? Very good. Then we'll go ahead and move on to the next item under staff program reports, report on Trash or Treasure event. Here.
Yeah, so this year was a little different because it's the first time that we did it without spring cleanup. Overall, I think it went really well. There's some people, a handful of people that called in just wanting to know what they do with their items after Trash or Treasure. But we did a lot of outreach, and I think Republic Services was really helpful. We worked together when they got calls as well. And it surprisingly, so if you're looking at the graph right here, we really shot up again this year, around a little over, probably close to almost 1,200 households participated in this program. So it's definitely getting more popular each year. In addition, we are getting more popular, like more residents in, but yeah, people really seem to like it a lot. And here's just some examples of what I saw when I was driving around. One person really organized, had all their stuff out, ready to go. And then the other one, you can even give away plants if you don't want it. So almost the sky's the limit, I guess, on this one. Does anybody have any questions for this event?
Thank you.
Oh, sorry,
Meg.
question. I think the answer is there's no way to really know, but the pink bar shows the number of people that put items out, but we don't have a feel of like how many of those got taken by somebody else and how many ended up still being disposed of. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, so that's the address of how many participated. I do send out a post-event or a post-event survey. So that but it's unfortunately, it's only for the people who participated as a giver. But I do ask, was all your stuff taken, some, none? And then, if some stuff wasn't taken, where did it go to? So when I get all those results, I can share them with you if you like.
That'd be great. I think that'd be interesting to know.
Additional comments or questions on the Trash or Treasure event? Very good. Then we'll go ahead and move on to old business. First item under old business is Recycle a Bicycle event results. Sarah, you can kick it off.
Yeah, so here's some pictures of all the people that helped out. I thought it was a really good event, and we had a lot of patrons come to our booth and ask questions and take things, bike lights. So right here on the left are a picture of everybody that participated, and Timber Creek had people out helping slime and fix tires. And then on the right is a child who got a bike. So really happy about that. And then here are some numbers. So at the tabling at the event, we had around 56 people come to our booth. We had one person who was, besides the English speaking, non-speaking English, was one Spanish person, and we gave them a a map. And I think we brought 18, was it around 18 bikes? I think so.
Yeah, I think we ended up with 26.
Oh,
and
okay.
all of them
Yeah.
found a home.
Okay, perfect. And I think around 15, it was hard to keep track of that area, came up to get their bikes slimed and air in it. And then 2 Timber Creek volunteers for SWAC, 1 staff. And then the online sign up stats were pretty high as well. Just from Meridian was 88 individuals. And then surrounding areas like Boise, Caldwell, Fruitland was 53. And then 141 total bike requests. And before the event, so before May 11th, we were able to give out around 35 bikes. So that's a lot of work. So I think that's pretty awesome that as we're able to turn it around so fast. And I think we're still working on the Meridian group to send out bikes.
Yeah, I think that'll be ongoing for the next month or so as we had a lot of requests for children's bikes, but we
Mhm.
didn't have a lot of material to to get out yet. So we're
Yeah.
kind of waiting on the people to clean out their garage, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's all I have for my.
I'd like to, thank a few more people. Yeah, Timber Creek was there and they bring their truck that has a compressor and that helps us kind of expedite the process to fill tires. And I feel like there was a lot more than 15. Sometimes we were overwhelmed and couldn't pay attention. And then Meridian Cycles helped us not only with giving us a discount for materials this spring, but also donated the slime and equipment for Saturday. So I appreciate them helping out. And then, of course, Republic Services is pretty generous with the space and a covered area for all of our stuff. And it's a much easier process the way we have it set up now. That we can easily get in and out on an afternoon or an evening. And of course, we had John and Dan and Kelly and all the people that come and go out of the volunteers. So there's a lot more hours year round than people I think appreciate that's working on these bikes. And thanks all the commissioners that came out on Saturday. I guess one last thank you, Sayard, for your organizational skills. You're a lifesaver. Scott and I spend a lot more time doing bike repair than trying to, work through the list and getting organized. And that is very helpful for us.
Thanks, and I don't really know how to fix bikes, so I figured out how I could contribute.
And thanks for keeping us honest and on track.
Thank you, commissioners. Any comments or questions on the information provided?
I would just add that Sayard had created just kind of little handouts for folks that wanted to donate bikes, who to contact and where to go, and people were interested in that as well. That was a common question.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, we also had people that requested, we didn't have what they needed and gave them that same contact information to get a hold of Rochelle and kind of get on the list. And also the address. That was very helpful having it already printed up.
Yeah, I was surprised how many people took them. So I think we'll definitely do that next year. I think it worked really well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Additional comments? Not, then we'll go ahead and move on to Public Works Week Expo. Sayard.
I'm not sure if you guys want to go first I should have probably switched the slides, but I think it went really well outside, except for that, it was a little windy and rainy, but yeah, you guys had a lot of people. After I counted them all up, 75 patrons went to your booth. So that's really good. Do you want to, does someone there want to, do you guys want to talk about who were there at your booth? And then I can, or I can switch it over and talk.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so we had about 75 people come to the booth, got to talk to folks about the squishy water bottle program primarily, but got to talk about like what goes in the cart and what are the other options for recycling as Sayed was talking about the special programs. There was interested in that grass clippings and leaves, and so got to talk about those different programs. And I think it just points up the need, ongoing need for education in the community, because we're always getting new people. They're coming from somewhere else. They're trying to do recycling the way they did it wherever they came from. And, so just letting people know what can go in their cart and what their other options are. I think people generally want to do the right thing if they just know what they're supposed to do. So there's always that need. So it was great to talk to lots of folks. The weather was a factor, a little windy and rainy outside, which was good for us inside because it drove people inside. So we got to talk to more folks. We had the advantage of being right next to the fire department's table. So they had cool stuff to give away and demonstrate. So it drove lots of people to our area as well. And Steve got to have a good conversation with one of the division chiefs about kind of cooperative efforts around lithium batteries and safe disposal of those batteries. Of course, the fire department has an interest in preventing fires from lithium batteries. So I think, of course, it's very early, but I think some good things will come out of that conversation around what we can do together on that. That's all I had. Oh, and fantastic picture of the Republic Recycling mascot there. I don't know who's in the costume. Thank you, Connor.
Rochelle had a really good picture of you. The boy was jumping up in the air and yeah, so unfortunately I already made this before when she gave it to me, but yeah, it was a good one too. It was nice seeing your guys' mascot out. Yeah, so outside, we, even with the wind and rain, we still had some time available, or with the sun out, that people could paint the compost bin, the yard debris bin. So that was good. So excited about that. And I think there'll be a home somewhere for it, but then hopefully we can get that back during leaf season and yeah, and use that in our program. And then this is what our table booth looked like. We had probably around 50, so a little less than your guys' is probably just the weather. But no, it was great having Timber Creek there right next to us. And especially since we had a compost organics roll off. So yeah, I think it was helpful. And people always have questions about plastics, because that's always the most confusing one of all of them, I think. I think that's all I have for our booth.
Members of the commission, any questions or comments on the Public Works Expo?
They moved the date, but they didn't change the weather. Can we do something about that next year?
I wish.
Further comments? Very good. Then we'll go ahead and move on to new business. And the item under new business is the arts contest update. Commissioner Larson.
So my update is that West Side School District is out tomorrow. And so my concern is that I've not done any outreach / promotion with the school district, and I'd really like to capture student entries. I feel like the best course of action would be to defer the contest till next year so that some promotion can be done with students. I would like to see it be successful, and I think we'll run into the same problems with limited participation if we try to do it this summer. So I'm sorry that I didn't get that done more, but I think it would be better to wait until next year and capture student participants rather than try to do it again this summer and have limited participation. The arts event, I believe, is the second week in September, so not very long after school goes back in session, and for us to pick winners and so forth, it would be before school is back in session. So that would be my proposal, is to kind of push that off in terms of rolling out the program, but continue to work on it. So we're ready for the 2025 community art party.
Members of the commission, any comments on that report?
I would agree, because if we can get the information out to them in the spring, get them excited about the contest in the fall, that gives them the summer to work on a project.
Chair,
I have a comment. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I have a comment or a quick question. So how in depth is the project? Is that something that could be done that like later in the fall, moving the date so that after the kids are back in school, maybe like an October thing?
Mr. Chair, Bethany, so what we have done, what we did the first and only time that we did it last year is to kind of announce the winner and have a table at the community art party, which is a project of the Arts Department and the Arts Commission, and that is early in September. I think it would be good to do our piece in conjunction with the arts activity. Arts Week is in the beginning of September, and then that community art party is a terrific event that's also in September.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
we could, but I think there would be advantages to doing it kind of in conjunction with the other art activities. We could gain something from co-promotion and things like that, so.
That makes sense. Sorry about that. By the way, I think my phone cut out there for a second. Thank you.
Further comments or questions?
Chair, I have a comment.
Yes.
I think that's a good idea. I think that'll then give us time to kind of have a good plan and even develop like outreach and kind of how flyers or whatever you would want in the schools, and then have maybe have a timeline like, okay, we work on it till, January, and then January we start the process of, sending out information or, whatever you would want. But I think that's a good idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that feedback and support there. I do think it has the potential to be a fun community event and as part of arts. So I don't want to do it wrong and lose it. I'd rather do it right and keep it.
Additional comments?
Do we need a motion for this?
Remind me, did we go ahead and have a vote to go ahead and participate? So we would need to have a vote to defer.
I'm pretty sure you guys had a vote.
So yes, if I could get a motion, that would be good.
Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone our participation or having that contest in general in 2024 and have it ready to go in 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we postpone our participation in the Fall Art Week appreciation. Further comments?
Chair, I'll let the Arts Commission know that we're deferring it, because I think they are kind of assuming we'll do it again. So I'll let them know kind of what's going on.
Very good. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed, say no. The motion passes. With that, we move on to stakeholder updates. Republic Services, do you have anything you want to go ahead and present to us at this time?
They don't have anything to present right now.
Um, There's no one here from, from Timber Creek?
Hi there, Tyler with Timber Creek Recycling. You guys been seeing my face around a little bit, so finally talk to you. I just want to give you a quick update. I'm not sure how many of you guys are aware, visiting with Sayard at the Public Works event about how finally set up to do commercial organics in Ada County, including Meridian. Everything from parts to roll-off, like the nice painted up one that Sayard had at the event. I just didn't know how many of you guys were aware. It's been a long time in the works, and we're finally set up and got everything going with Republic where we can do little carts for everything as small as a restaurant to big roll-offs for a bigger company like Costco. Happy to finally be offering that service here in Meridian. If you had any questions about that, wanted to make you guys aware if you weren't already.
Thank you. Members of the commission, do you have any questions or comments? Thank you. With that, we move on to the next meeting. The next meeting is June 26th. As usual, if there's any topics that we haven't covered that you think we should take up, contact myself or Sayard. Unless there's something else that's missed, we've addressed everything that's on the agenda. And I do want to thank everyone. This is a busy week with us having all the outreach, the 3 major events. So it's good to go ahead and get a chance to catch up and record the reports. But it's always important to thank y'all for being involved in the outreach activities. With that, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and I thank you much for what you do for the city of Meridian.